All right, what's up, guys? We're gonna be taking a look at a coin that I haven't talked about in quite some time, um, and as you guys know, that the market has certainly evolved. It's matured. It's gotten all of a sudden very expensive to own some of the more notable coins today. So in this particular video, we're gonna focus in on one of the scarcest varieties in the Lincoln Memorial Cent series. Now we're all way too familiar with the 1972 date in itself, most notably the Philadelphia minted coinage, primarily due to the number of pretty nice double dies that can be found for this date. The one that you see on screen here, and I won't have my actual thumbnail picture. Usually, with these screencasts, I like to have my picture on the bottom right-hand corner, but I think we're going to end up using most of the screen in this one. So I figure looking at the coins would be a whole heck of a lot better than looking at my mug. So yeah, we're just going to go with it. And of course, you guys will see my mouse pointer on the screen to help guide and direct to the areas in question that are going to be important for this video. Now, everybody is very familiar with the big one. Okay, this is the DDO number one, also known as the FS 101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. The Cherry Picker's Guide is a variety book for U.S. coinage. Kind of hard to find these days because they're in the middle of retooling and revamping the volumes, getting new information in, taking some out. They've even switched publishers from Whitman to Krause. So there's a lot going on right now. And with the pandemic and stuff, it certainly didn't help the production and all that stuff. And that's why we haven't seen it. But it's a great book to have. I have the digital version available below in the description box of my video. It's one of my hottest sellers. It's like $10. And you could add it to your tablet, your Kindle, whatever you have, and just look at it at your leisure. It's always good to have that kind of reference. But getting back to the coin, so this one right here, you guys see the big chunky doubling on the FS 101 that you see here. The date is especially notchy and lots of spread here. But you also see it on Lincoln as well. You see the bow tie, the front of the jacket in a few areas, very nice doubling. Bottom of the chin there, the lip. Liberty, quite strong, quite nice. You can see that there. I mean, this one is going to make itself very well known if you're able to find this. This is just an incredibly high grade specimen here at a Mid-State 67 plus red, which makes it one of the more advanced grades for trying to buy into this variety. Now, the 72 FS 101 has been a coin that's been going up recently. Even though there's one red down arrow, we're at $9,000 for that Mid-State 67 plus. But we don't have nearly enough information here. I think this price is probably on par. But I've also seen a few pieces that have kind of pushed the $10,000 level. We have seen quite a few pieces sell here in 66, 267, and of course 68. There's only one known. And that is a monster. So they got $23,500 for the actual value. These are full red coins, all right? So they're not brown or red brown. Full red is what's going to take to earn some of these big price values here. So this is a coin that has kind of spearhead the popularity of the 1972 date. However, I don't think it's the most expensive coin out of the 9 or 10 major double the dies for the date. As a matter of fact, the coin that we're going to talk about in this video is one that I haven't talked about in probably 5 years, if not longer. I would say it was probably way back in like 2015, that era where I talked about the rarest of them all, the FS 104. So we're going to take a look at this one. We're going to kind of dissect this particular coin so that way you guys know what to look for. I'm going to tell you what, the FS104 or the DDO number 4 is going to be the least impressive double to die out of all of them. All right, yeah, I would say it probably rivals the bottom one, the 09, as being not too fantastic looking. However, because of scarcity and rarity, this particular coin right here is quite expensive to own. Used to be that AU condition specimens used to be in that $750 to $1,000 range, but we haven't seen any pieces that have hit the marketplace recently, and I think that number probably would jump up today. Now, the only thing that I don't know, and it's not on PCGS's website or in their population report, is are there full red examples of this coin? When we go and look in here, they only have grades up to red-brown, all right? And as we all know, again, the collectability within the Lincoln Cent series, especially from a high-end registry set perspective, is going to be those full red examples, and we just don't have it here with the FS104. So it looks like Mid-State 65 Red Brown has been the highest graded example, but take a look at the actual population numbers of the coins. There's really not a whole lot out there. All right, we get into 63, there's only 3 known graded examples. 62, there's 1 there, and that's it. So this is for Red Brown. When we get into the brown coins, the brown grades, it's a little bit more wide open. But this is a coin, ladies and gentlemen, that grades around like AU 50 and under. They become tougher to attribute because of how weak the doubling is on the coin. I was looking, and I think this particular example is not the best one to look at. Let's take a look at this example here. Now, you're going to see that the coin is in decent shape, but it's nothing that I would say I'd write home to mother about. But when it comes to this particular variety, you're going to see that the coin grade, irrespective of what the actual color is going to be very important. Even if it hits Mid-State 62, 63, this is going to be a coin that's going to be highly coveted, because there just haven't been any that have hit the marketplace. And that, again, that's extremely important. You guys need to know that. So looking at the front or the obverse of the coin, you're probably asking yourself, that thing does not look like a double die. And I concur. You know, I am 100% behind each and every single one of you that are calling out this coin as being anything else but just a regular double to die. But when we get in close, let's see here. When we get in close to this coin, and it's going to be tough, you can see that there is a little bit of doubling in Liberty. See the letter L, I, B, and to a lesser extent the rest of the letters. L, I, and B are going to be your strongest, but when you look over around where the L is, you do have this counterclockwise rotational spread on this coin, and that's what you're going to look for. This is actually a Class 1 double to die. Another thing to look out for, and you have to be absolutely careful with this. I don't know if you see it there on the left side of your screen. There's going to be a couple very shallow rim cuts or little die chips right on the rim. That's right next to the L. This one is actually not that great of an example to showcase that. But keep in mind that even the non-DDO number 4s have had this little rim cut. All right, and don't mistake it for a rim bump or a rim hit because they are quite similar. Going into the In God We Trust area, you'll see that there is the strongest doubling on the word in, the word God, and boy is it subtle. You can see it really well in the word God there. The letter O and D, especially more chunkier than normal with a little bit of not splitting there in the O and D. When you get into we, the W is going to have pretty nice notching at the bottom, 2 points of the W. But when you look at the rest of the motto, trust, it's you can't really tell. You can't really tell. I mean, it's a really weak double die. on the date, you're going to see just a little bit of that counterclockwise spread. It's nothing too crazy. You look at the 9, it's got that distorted oblong look. There's really no noticeable notching in the top part of the end tail of the 9, and the 7 and 2 are very unspectacular in this coin. So it's quite tough. It's quite difficult to locate, and you guys see why that grades of this coin, anything south of AU, is going to be incredibly difficult. Most people get discouraged looking for this coin because a lot of the examples that we tend to pull out of pocket change and coin rolls are all pretty well circulated at that point. A lot of VF, XF condition coins, some of them, beat up, some of them with gunk and grease and chewing gum attached to it. And, it could be an FS 104. It may not be an FS 104. Again, it's really tough. And that's just some of the varieties out there. There are some varieties that are, at first glance, are really unspectacular at first glance, because they show just a small amount of doubling, or maybe the repunchment mark is not quite as strong as some of the other ones, but it's a lot more scarce because for every say 10 FS 101s that have been found going through rolls and change and BU rolls and things like that, there's probably one FS 104. That's kind of like the distorted ratio of the rarity of this particular coin, and one that definitely commands a lot more respect in the community because of how tough it is to find. And the one thing that I will say about this coin, and people have this innate habit of searching through BU rolls. I mean, God bless their heart, if you're able to find a 72 BU roll of Philadelphia Lincoln cents, that's a huge find. They're not out there as readily available as they used to be 10, 15, 20 years ago. As a matter of fact, a lot of what is being sold out there, you're going to pay a pretty substantial amount of money for one sealed BU roll of 72. You got to make pretty sure that the wrapper has been tampered with. It hasn't been rewrapped or re-rolled or something to that nature. You got to make sure that the end coins have the proper amount of oxidation without giving away too much. And it's really, because of the date, it's a lot more riskier to buy into BU rolls, especially when cherry picking has gained into so much prominence, when coin roll hunting has hit tremendous strides. Not right now. It's not a brand new thing. People have been roll hunting for a long time, many years, decades. Going all the way back probably to 70s, 80s, 90s. People were doing it even when the coin market was at its lowest. They weren't looking specifically for coins like this, but they were looking for some of the big ones that could be found out there. So as far as sales-wise, there's not a whole lot to hang your hat on. There's a Stack's Bowers listing from back in 2016. For $881, and that is indeed a Mint State 63 Red Brown example. It's got a PCGS price guide of $1,050, only 3 known extant. Grade-wise for that particular grade, I actually have that listing right here to give you an idea of what a Mint State 63 Red Brown looks like. Again, very unspectacular. You even have a little bit of staining or something right there, smack dab in the middle of the Lincoln Memorial. It's not great, and yet this one right here still managed to pull in $881.25. But can you imagine how much this coin would be in the more ultra-modern era, I mean 2022, when all the varieties, all of the big-name varieties have gone up about 50 to 100% in just the last 12 to 18 months? I could imagine this coin being about $2,500 in this grade. And that says a lot because, again, there hasn't been new examples discovered of this coin. This coin has literally kind of fallen by the wayside. It's fallen through cracks, and nobody's really paying attention to the FS104 anymore, except your most diehard collectors that all they have to really work with are the assortment of VF to XF examples, and you know, like I had mentioned before, not an easy variety to attribute once they get beyond like AU condition, because the circulation wear will dig in deep to some of the devices that matter most on the FS104, like the word liberty and the first few words of the motto. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this one. We're still going to do the pocket change market report. That's going to fall this afternoon. Always a great popular video. We're going to take a look at the market, see how everything's going. But most importantly, you know, in this video, this is going to go ahead and put the spotlight back on this coin and give a little bit more to you guys to kind of look for. Because if we're able to find someone able to find an example, and it's a suitable, decent grade that's very attributable, first and foremost, you definitely need to send this out to a grader. My personal choice would be like NGC to keep costs down. But you need this thing to be attributed through a third-party grading service, so that way you can sell it. Because by itself, because of how unimpressive the variety is, it's going to be a tough sell. So make sure you guys know this, and if you do find one, send it off. You could use Annex, NGC, or PCGS. People will pay more for the better grading company holders. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. I wish you guys the best of luck on all your hunts and searches today. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel and the video if you haven't done so already. All that extra support will go a long way. Keep in mind, I also have a TikTok, guys. BlueRidgeSilverhound is the name, all one word. And this was a fun topic. All right, so best of luck. You guys take care. And I shall see you on the next coin video. So long.